What's up, guys? My name is Sebastian Stratman. I hope you guys are having a great day and will continue having one. And this is my 2004 Toyota 4Runner SR5 Non-Sport Edition. I picked this up about 6 months ago for about $6,000. I have had to do a hell of a lot to it, but that's what you get when you get a 4Runner for $6,000. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I did and some of the things that I ran into, just in case you want to purchase one yourself. Anymore. So this here I caught us rear. I went. This video, that was no different. I'm gonna get right into it. The first thing we did is install this lift kit. I actually went with the Rough Country N1 struts. You can see them right there. Honestly, the entire kit is about $600 or so for front and rear. You cannot beat that. This lift has not sagged on me. It has not done anything wrong, anything that makes me think that they're gonna fail prematurely. Sure, it is a rough ride, but I'm getting coilover / struts, $600. I'm pretty happy. I've driven on these for about 5,000 miles now, 4 months-ish, and they've been driving great. Along with the lift, just because we need to move this tire a little bit forward to stop running on this body mount over here, we got some upper control arms. These are eBay upper control arms. They're not your cheap ones. They're not $100. They're almost $300. But they are half the price of any name brand control arm out there. And as you can see, I've done some pretty serious off-roading. There's no cracking, no issues over here. They've been doing great and they absolutely look amazing. I would highly recommend them. Honestly, I have had them on for about 3,000 miles and no problems. That's not to say I never will, but I'm willing to chance it. It seems like a really good deal. And so far, they're doing great with all the beatings I put this through. We did have to do lower control arms as well, because on these 4Runners, they're just rust buckets. So these lower control arms are brand new from eBay. They're actually Toyota specific. I did pay full price for these. They were about $350 for the both. There is places that will rip you off, but if you look for the Toyota brand name, look for your certain materials like polyurethane, steel, things like that, you're gonna get a quality product, and these are quality. That's the same for the CV axles right here. I got from Detroit Axle, and the power steering rack area. I can't remember what the hell that's called. I did replace those with eBay, but we ended up having to do a rack because of a mishap. It's nothing related to those parts. So the new rack is actually installed, and I'll post up the name of it right here. It wasn't super cheap, but I did want to make sure it was a one and done kind of thing. I didn't want to have to do it twice, but that brand new power steering rack ran me about $500. Obviously, we got wheels and tires here. So the wheels are actually from Rough Country. A lot of people don't realize that Rough Country does sell wheels, and they're actually very, very good quality wheels. So I got all four. I picked them all four up for about $250 on a deal. They are steel, so they are going to be super, super heavy, and they are. But they're performing well. They're not rusting. I don't see any cracks, and we're doing pretty great. They're a steel wheel. They're going to last forever. In here, we have, I'll zoom in a little bit. We do have Detroit Axle rotors and pads. I've been using Detroit Axle for 5+ years now on so many different cars. I've had full master technicians tell me that the quality of the parts are very well made. I love Detroit Axle. I'm not sponsored at all, but I should be, because they're dank. The tires I went with are considered 33s, but they're really a 33.6. So if you round up, hey, I got a 34. I'm digging it. I love it. They're doing great. I had to do a lot of trimming, as you can see up here, to be able to fit these things without rubbing. Most of the trimming from about right here to right here, I didn't really plan, but the fenders were so rusty that there was not much point in keeping them there. So we decided to shave them off, put this seal here. It's not beautiful, but it's an off-road vehicle. Just so you know, when you do decide to do your fenders and you're in the rust belt, the chances of your fender being rusted off from about right here to right here are very high. So you may have to do the same thing I do. Over here in the rear, you can see that Rough Country shock. I have already hit the bump stop. I need to adjust them. But we got the Dobinsons. I can't remember what the hell those called, but I'll put it right here. Those are Dobinsons. It's the only way I could freaking find them, and they're way too expensive. You could probably find better for cheaper, but it works. In the back here, I do have every arm replaced. I wasn't going to take a chance on rust or anything like that, and this was from Off-Road 4Runner or something like that. Came as a kit for the entire rear suspension. Did great for us. Quality suspension. I got all of the adjustments that I need to get a proper alignment. I love it. It's great. I would recommend it. Then towards the back here, of course, we got these nice tail lights that you wouldn't believe what I picked these up for. About 150 bucks on eBay. I've had no problems. I did a little bit of silicone help on it to make sure they're not gonna leak and I'm not gonna get water inside them things. But they come with their bulbs. In fact, they're actually bulbless. But they come with everything that you need to install. It's 2 wires, super, super easy. If you guys want to install video, I'll take them off and install them. That's how easy they are. They're great. I would highly recommend them. Don't be paying $1,000 for taillights. It's freaking taillights, guys. Come on. All right, this is one of my favorite things that we did, and this is the MagnaFlow cat backpack here. It is getting a little bit of love from the Rust Belt out here, but it is doing great. It sounds freaking awesome. We'll try and do a test clip, but obviously it is snowy, so I don't want to put my phone on the ground really. But like all Toyotas, it does have, all V8 Toyotas, it does have cracked manifolds. One of those cats are brand freaking new, and the other one is whistling like a diesel. But, you know, I'm not really worried about it. It's not going to cause me any engine issues. The crack is actually after the O2 sensor, so I can pass the emissions. I can do all that, so we're good. I did do a body mount chop. I did not do the actual plate. I got a lot of research done to be able to see if this is something possible. But yes, you do not have to weld a plate there. Obviously, if you want to do it right, you can. One day I'm going to buy a welder and figure out how to do it myself, and that's the same time I'm going to make the bumper. But at this time, the only time that body mount is actually going to do me any damage from the way I cut it is if I do get in a T-bone wreck. But if I get in a T-bone wreck, this thing's toast either way. All right, over to one of my favorite parts. It's the front of the vehicle. I do have aftermarket headlights. I have had 2 kinds, halos, also from eBay, and retrofits, also from eBay. Halos, honestly, I wouldn't recommend. They were poor quality. They were bad in the night. And I mean, honestly, the wiring on them kind of freaked me out a little. So I got the retrofits with a little bit darker tint on the inside of the actual LED, so it looks a little bit foggy. I love them. They're LED, they're bright as hell, and they get the job done. Along with my LED light bar in white, I can see anything I need in the night. The LED light bar and the fog lights I actually picked up as a kit on eBay just to get me started. I do want to upgrade the lights. I do think that is something that you should not cheap out on, but although for roughly I think it was 150 bucks for both, I'm getting some pretty good projection out of both the amber and the ditch lights. So honestly, if you're going for a really budget build, 150 bucks for both kits with the wiring harness, that's a pretty good deal. Plus, they look great. So I'm gonna keep them for my off-road adventures at night until I decide to upgrade them. But like I said, 150 bucks for a 32-inch light bar and two ditch lights with the wiring is pretty great. Some of the things that came with this being a rust bucket was the welds for the fuel tank were not so great. You can see the OEM clip right there. It's not even there anymore. We had to weld the tank back up onto the frame itself. Everything's fine now. Obviously, that was probably a repair you don't have to do on very many cars, but this is a $6,000 4Runner, and we meant it to be cheap. We made it work, and for 150 bucks, we got that welded up. At the same time, the people who sold this to me, I won't name their names because they could get in a lot of trouble for this. It was actually a dealership, but I had Bluetooth rear brake lines. The rear brake lines were not there, period. The technician that was helping me work on this actually found that out and made custom brake lines for me. Obviously, I get deals and I have friends, but this could probably run you between 200 to 400 bucks between installation, materials, and things like that, because you're gonna have to route that from the front of the vehicle to the back, and that is a pain in the ass. So when you're interested in buying a 4Runner, this is something that you should most definitely look at. These things are all rusty, and most of it can just be pushed away for a little while, scrubbed away, whatever. But if you have rusty brake lines, they need to be replaced. As well as the power steering lines in this thing were so bad, we replaced them probably the second week. There is an oil cooler line that isn't leaking yet, but I can see that it's about to, or at least it's about to crack. It's just so rusty. I'm gonna be replacing that here this weekend. There's a transmission line right up here in the front that is rubberized, that is leaking just a tad. We're gonna have to replace that, but it's a 20-year-old 4Runner. All that repair gonna cost me maybe 200 bucks for the power steering lines, the transmission cooler line, as well as the oil lines. To give you an idea, I work at a dealership, and if you were to do that on a new car, you're probably looking at $1,200 plus. And that's if you're getting a deal and you know someone. So the next thing about this is not modified. That 4.7 liter V8, baby. So right now I do have a Optima battery in here. It doesn't fit the tie down, so it's kind of funky. but I should probably get that away from the positive terminal. Well, there we go. Okay, well, I have the Optima battery in here. I would get a red top, but honestly, just go for a Toyota battery. I use this in a pinch, and it does have enough cold cranking amps to start this car and take the little bit of electronics that I've added on. Don't worry about the wiring. I do plan to clean it up a little bit. This was to get me going for now. Like I said, I wasn't planning on this being a permanent thing, these LED bars. I want to fix it better in the future. But overall, the front in this engine bay has been great. Whoever had it before treated it very, very well. We also did the timing belt at the same time, and it was needed. I have 185,000 miles, and that timing belt was cracked to shit. So when you do your timing belt, get the water pump, replace your drive belt, get the pulleys. I did go with Gates for both the drive belt and the timing belt. Gates belts are great, and I would highly recommend them. I've used them in many vehicles. Most cars don't have timing belts. This one does, so it is very important to get a high quality belt. Moving into the interior, I haven't done a whole lot, but we got some WeatherTech floor mats right here. They've been treating me real nice and well. We did go ahead and do the LED light conversion right here. They're bright as hell. Don't mind my dog hair, bro. But I have a husky, don't judge. But the LED light conversion is awesome. I can actually see inside my vehicle at night, because normally it's all these orange lights. But I do like these orange lights. I don't not believe in changing them out, but these needed to happen. Here's the often misconception, you can believe me or not. I've paid $1,000 for a CarPlay module. I've paid $500 for a CarPlay module. I have been sponsored. I have been blah, 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 blah. This is $40 on eBay and kills it. I might get connection after maybe 10 to 15 seconds after I hop in the car. There's a little bit of a delay, and sometimes it might freeze, but I reload it and it's fine. $40, you get CarPlay, decent radio, and you can bypass the JBL speakers so that you can actually use the sound, and there is no real audio difference. This was super nice. My buddy helped me install it. We went ahead and spliced it into the lights for the actual shifter, but this is a charger port, because the 4Runner did not come with one from factory, which I believe it definitely should have. I mean, it was 2004, but come on, just one 12 volt. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know we were going to be using them, but I got my Garmin in here right there on the 12 volt just in case I go off-road, and there is not a map for that. But I wanted to bring you guys a video. I said I wanted to do something weekly. Well, here is the 4Runner. If you guys want to know anything more about it, want to see more off-road videos about it, some of the problems that I ran into building it, anything like that, just let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to make a video about it. I do love making these videos. I just often don't have time or know what to film. But I am slowing down on this build. I don't plan to do too much more with it for at least a little while, but I am happy to show you what I do with what I build. Thank you guys. I hope you guys have a great day and continue having one.